Hello there, Teo again. Today we are going to be taking a deep dive into fundamental move mechanics. Move is by far the best deck in Pool 2. A good move player can beat any and every matchup. Move has so much variance that every game will introduce you to niche interactions and intricate combos. But before we go into any of the fancy stuff, we need to talk about Move Prio. Move Prio is the most fundamental mechanic when it comes to playing Move. While it is very important, it's also quite simple. Move pile is basically what moves when and in what order. In order to get the most value out of your movers, you're going to have to remember the order in which you played units in any given lane, and your sequencing when doing your move turns. A little mistake can throw an entire game winning line out the window. To master move pile, just pay attention. An example would be having a cloak and Heimdall. The units that you sequence first into the cloak will move along with the cloak to the location to the left. This means that if you really want your vulture or multiple man to move twice, sequence it into the cloak first. Another fundamental skill that you need to have in order to play move is knowing when to tempo your combo cards and playing around your hand. Do not to be afraid to tempo your Hulkbuster or cloak. There are some niche situations in which you wouldn't want to tempo your cloak, like if your opponent has an Angela or if your opponent can move into your cloak and play a bigger unit in the lane that you're winning. But other than that, play that 2-4. Playing around your hand is important. If you know that you can't pull off any big move combos yet, make sure to play like a tempo deck. Move can tempo very well. Move isn't one-sided. There are multiple layers to this deck. You just have to put time into the list. Now, let's talk about placement. Placement is such an important factor to your success while playing Move. The gist of it is value on the far left, Craven middle, and cards that move to the far right. Obviously, there are some locations that change it, but this is generally how you want to play. Oh, and by the way, Iron Fist on Hulkbuster is OP. It moves the card Hulkbuster attached to. Do that. Okay, guys, so here we are in game one. And we have a very, very solid hand and a very good location one and location two. So we play our Koya on two, obviously, as we all know that is game winning with this deck on turn two. Because right now we know that we don't have multiple mana in hand. So if we draw them next turn, we're just doing great, right? And we do. We draw them right now. But the kicker is that our Vulture gets discarded, so we have to play towards multiple man since we have a Hulkbuster in hand as well. And we have Bifrost. So we're doing alright. Not great, but alright. And we know that they're destroy decks, so they go tall. But, we go wide because we beat tall decks with multiple men. So we place the cloak on the right, and it doesn't matter because we know that the Okoye is gonna move to the Sanctum, so it doesn't matter if we play the cloak here, but it's just great because we get an extra multiple man, right? And yeah, so we do that, and we get two extra multiple men. I'm sorry about that. And so that happens, and now we get to attach our Hulkbuster. But the thing here, and it's very important, is that you have to move your multiple man before you play Hulkbuster, or else it won't attach to anything, and it'll just be the Hulkbuster by itself. And I'm safe to play the Iron Fist because I played the Hulkbuster first. Sequencing is very important here, because if I played the Iron Fist first, there would be a chance that the Hulkbuster would attach to the Iron Fist, obviously. And so, there we go. And we're pretty good here, obviously. They played a Hobgoblin, but we don't really care about that right lane. And so we are winning Sanctum, and now we have Chavez on left, because if we play the Doctor Strange, it doesn't really matter, and we're flipping first, so Shang-Chi isn't really important. So yeah, we just play Chavez on the left, and we end up winning the game. Because we're just, we're playing move. Obviously, we won the game. And yeah, that's game one. Now let's head over to game number two. All right, here we are, game two, and we have a very solid hand. We have Craven and two very good locations for us. So we play Craven middle, obviously, because that's where Craven belongs. He is our middle guy. And our opponent decides to play on top of our Craven, which is amazing for us, as when they shift right, Craven will have its stats increased. And so, we actually can't move right here because cards cannot be added to the right location. However, we have to play to the left now because if we play to the left, they will go to the right and Craven will still be buffed by every card played on the left. And our opponent decides to play on the left as well, which isn't the best decision, but it's their decision. So, I'm not going to judge them for that. And now we play our multiple man and our Iron Fist, sequencing obviously, Iron Fist first. And now we have two multiple men. But we now know that the multiple man won't move, so it doesn't really matter. We just get an extra Iron Fist here, even though we probably should have played it after, just in case we do draw a Vulture here. But it doesn't matter because as you're going to see here, we just have a bajillion power Craven here, so, we're kind of just good at the game. And here the opponent concedes, and that's about it, guys. See ya.